Hi there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to Cheap Shots, the series dedicated to showing you money-saving tips for the miniatures wargaming hobby. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about using the brand new Goremongers kill team in your games of Necromunda. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is, of course, is that the idea here is that we're using different miniatures for multiple gaming systems. And for those of you who do play kill team, I've actually been making a series of videos how you can transition those kill teams from Warhammer 40,000 kill team and use them into Necromunda. The reason why we're talking about this is because recycling miniatures into multiple games is a great way to get the most use out of your miniatures and save you a ton of money at exactly the same time. And plus, we're going with the age-old philosophy that every miniature is a Necromunda miniature, and since Kill Team takes place in the exact same universe as Necromunda, it's an organic, kind of easy comparison to take those miniatures and put them into two different settings. I mean, it's pretty easy to justify that. So if you do want to use your Goremongers in games of Necromunda, let's talk about exactly how you can explain the narrative behind these guys. Now obviously you could use pretty much the same kind of narrative for the Goremongers already represent in Kill Team and just kind of organically fit them into Necromunda. These guys are a bunch of Kim-crazed, cybernetically enhanced berserkers who are dedicated to the Blood God. And just like every other cult in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, you could also dedicate your cult to the Chaos Gods in Necromunda, so it's an easy transition in order to put them in the setting. And but the only difference though between this cult and other cults that are dedicated to the Blood Cult, these guys use speed, agility, as well as cunning to achieve their objectives. And the reason why is because they cybernetically as well as chemically enhance themselves to put themselves into a frenzy to actually bring as much destruction on the battlefield. And the reason why is because these Goremongers are, according to the 40k lore anyways, is that these guys are basically like jackals from the world leaders who basically witnessed bloodletters on the battlefield, and they were so inspired by the way that a bloodletter operates on the battlefield, they decided to kind of like change their bodies in order to mimic that. They got these like back tilted cybernetic legs, that way they can move across the battlefield faster and engage their targets. They dress themselves up like bloodletters of Khorne from those lesser demons, and they try to bring as much chaos destruction as possible. And obviously you can see that happening in Necromunda, where some like-minded individuals witness something probably demonic taking place in the Underhive, so they've enhanced themselves in order to mimic that creature and to, spill blood in the name of the Blood God. So the playstyle for this gang is that the idea here that when I create these rosters, that you're using this one box set of miniatures, the Goremongers kill team, only for your games in Necromunda. So I'm going to make the gang around that using that one box of miniatures. So there's no vehicle rules or anything like that. However, when it comes to the playstyle, this gang is going to be extremely mobile. They're going to be really fast and move across the battlefield very quickly, so that way they can engage their enemies in close quarters battle as well as close combat, because that's exactly how these fighters are equipped for Kill Team. We're going to do exactly the same thing for your games in Necromunda as well. In order to achieve this result, we're going to use the Venators gang rules from the Bone Dry and Broke supplement that came out for the Apocrypha Necromunda that's available on the Warhammer community page. We're doing this for a couple of reasons. The first reason why is because the special rules for the Beastmen kind of match up what these characters have. If they take flesh wounds, they get additional attacks, which is, narratively fits within this playstyle. They're also immune to Friends On, so if you want to use Friends On Chems on your fighters in order to make them even more lethal on the tabletop, you could do that as well. Plus the characteristics and the statistics that they have in the rules kind of fit these guys' overall playstyle, so that's where we're using that. Plus at the same time, we could also customize our skills for this gang, at the same time customize what kind of weapons and equipment they're using, which is going to help you to use those weapons and equipment that is inherent in these miniatures and use them in your campaigns in Necromunda. So let's go and start with your 1,000 credit roster for your Goremongers. These guys are going to be a Chaos Corrupted Venator gang that's dedicated to the Blood God, and our 4 skills that we're going to choose for these guys are Agility, Combat, Cunning, as well as Brawn. So that way they can move across the battlefield very quickly. We can use those Agility skills in order to do that. That's to represent the cybernetics that these guys have on their legs to kind of mimic what a Bloodletter does. Obviously, we want combat because this gang is going to be a very close combat oriented gang. And oddly enough, we're using cunning. And the reason why is because we're actually only using one skill from the cunning skill tree. We're using infiltrate. And that's to represent the fact that these guys kind of move across the battlefield and surround their enemies and defeat them. Also, evade would also be a really good a skill to use for these guys too, so that way you get bonuses for not getting shot at. And oddly enough, lie low would actually really work for these guys too, because they can move across the battlefield quickly and then dive down and take cover, so that way they don't get shot at until they can close a distance to engage their targets in close combat. So now that we're done talking about exactly what kind of gang this would be, let's talk about your individual fighters. So for your leader, your Blood Herald is going to represent your Beastman Hunt leader. It's going to cost you 265 credits. This character's got mesh armor for 5 armor save, and we're giving this guy an Eviscerator from the Cawdor equipment list. And the reason why is because it kind of mimics what the weapon that the Blood Herald is kind of carrying, which is a massive chain sword. So it's a very good close combat weapon. It's got the versatile trait attached to it too, so you can still do fight actions even if you're not engaged in basic contact. It's also got a flamer on there too, at strength 3, which is quite good. We're giving this guy an auto pistol so that we can do some short range shooting, because that's what his character is carrying on the miniature. And he's going to have the infiltrate skill. We're using that to represent the fact that he kind of sneaks in and he uses his piston powered legs to close a distance to engage his enemies. He's also got the Feral Warrior special rule, which means that he's got every single time he takes a flesh wound, he gets an additional attack, as well as friends on conditioning, meaning he's immune to being addicted to friends on. So get that as quickly as possible. And because he's the leader of a gang that's dedicated to Blood God, he gets 1 additional attack as well, which means this guy will have 4 attacks base. When he charges in the close combat 2 weapons, he's going to have 5 attacks. It'll be a very deadly character to deal with. Now on this list, we're not going to have the Impaler. In fact, we're not going to have a couple of miniatures in this list because we only had 1,000 credits to work with. However, the next fighter you are going to use though is your Skull Claimer, who's going to be a Beastman Hunt champion, rated at 165 credits. He's got mesh armor for 5 armor save, as well as a renderizer rated axe from the Goliath rulebook. Now the reason why I picked this weapon is because unfortunately Necromunda doesn't have any rules for 2-headed chain axes, at least not yet. They don't anyways when I made this video. And the renderizer serrated chain axe is kind of close to what I would imagine what a 2-headed chain axe would do, and that's the reason why we're equipping this character with that. He's also got an auto pistol for short range shooting attack, as well as the infiltrate skill, so that way he can surround his enemies. Also has the Feral Warriors, as well as the friends on conditioning special rules. Your second champion is going to be the Stalker. He's going to be another Beastman Hunt champion rated at 175 credits. Once again, this character's got mesh armor for 5 armor saved, as well as paired pulverizers, because that is a weapon that is available for the House Goliath gangs. They're kind of like miniature 2-headed axes, and we're using this for this fighter as well. Plus they got the paired characteristics, which means you'll be able to double your attacks in close combat when you charge forward. This character's got an auto pistol for short range shooting attack, and once again, living up to his name, he's going to have the infiltrate skill to represent the fact that he is stalking his prey. He's also got the Feral Warriors, as well as friends on conditioning rules as well. Now unfortunately we don't have enough credits in order to include your Inciter in this gang, so we're going to leave that guy off. But we are taking the Blood Taker. This guy is going to be another Beastman Hunter, this time at 105 credits. He's got mesh armor for 5 armor save, as well as a Brute Cleaver, which is a great close combat weapon and kind of mimics that weird looking sword thing that he's also carrying as well. He's got an Owl Pistol for a backup shooting attack, as well as additional close combat attack. He's got the Feral Warrior special rule, as well as the Friends on Conditioning special rule. And the last 2 fighters for your gang are going to be your Aspirants, Aspirant number 1 as well number 2. Both these guys will be Beastman Hunters rated at 145 credits apiece, and they're going to be equipped exactly the same. Both will have mesh armor for 5 armor saves. Both will have chain glaives, which are great close combat weapons with high strength. They also got a versatile trait, so they can also engage enemies when they're not in basic contact. They have auto pistols for a backup shooting attack. They have Feral Warriors, as well as friends on conditioning special rules attached to them as well. And this is going to make up your 1,000 credit starting roster if you decide to use this roster to create your Goremongers gang. Now our next list is going to be the Goremongers list, but this time rated at 2,000 credits, and this is for those of you who want to play in the Aranthian Secession. And this list is kind of crazy because of all the equipment and weapons I gave these guys in order to mimic what they can do in the battlefield of Kill Team. Once again, they are a Chaos Corrupted Venator gang dedicated to Blood God. Our skills are still agility, combat, cunning, as well as brawn, and basically we're going to be able to upgrade these guys with even more equipment and weapons as well. And because they're dedicated to Blood God, once per round they can reroll a failed wound rolled, so that would be really great for you to land those blows against your enemy. They also get +1 to their strengths if they get a combat chaos spawn in their gang, and most importantly, their leader gets an additional attack in close combat. So once again, your Beastman Hunt Leader, the Blood Herald, is making a return, but this time he's upgraded to 430 credits. Now once again, he's got his mesh armor, but this time we're upgrading his Eviscerator to a Mastercrafted Eviscerator, so that way he can reroll failed hit rolls once per battle. He's got an auto pistol man-stop round, so that way he's got a strength 4 short-range shooting attack, and we're giving this guy frag grenades. And the reason why is because the miniature has a bunch of frag grenades on his belt, so this guy's gonna have them as well. Plus, not to mention, frag grenades are pretty awesome as well. We're giving this guy a Friends on collar too, so that way he has all the wonderful ferocity skills. Berserk, giving him additional attack. He's gonna have nerves of steel to escape being pinned. He's got the unstoppable as well as the true grit skills. So this guy's gonna be an unstoppable close combat killing machine. At the same time, we're also giving him a grapnel launcher as well as a grav shoot to represent the mobility that he has, to mimic what those cybernetic legs of his can basically do. The grapnel launcher will be a double action for him to move anywhere he wants within 12 inches. So they can represent him like just speeding across the battlefield. He's got the grav shoot so that way he can jump down from any distance on any height and land safely on the ground, which means you can now jump off of ledges to charge into your enemies down below, which would be a great ability for you. He still's got the infiltrate skill so that way he can sneak around the battlefield and encircle your enemies. He's got the Feral Warrior special rule as well as Friends on conditioning, and we're giving him +1 attack because he is the leader of a blood cult. So moving on to your champions, the Skull Claimer once again returns, but this time upgraded to 280 credits. Still has mesh armor, but this time we're upgrading his Renderizer Axe to a Master Crafter Renderizer Axe. That way once per battle you can reroll your misses in close combat. Still has an auto pistol for backup weapon, but we're giving this guy a Friends on collar as well, so that way he gets all those wonderful ferocity skills that we mentioned before, and a grapnel launcher as well as a grav shoot for mobility as well, so you can ride across the battlefield and jump down from heights and engage your enemies. Still has the infiltrate skills, so that way you can surround your enemies and from exposed flanks. He's also got the Feral Warriors as well as a Friends on conditioning special rule as well. And your last champion, the Stalker, also makes return. This Beastman Hunt champion is now upgraded to 290 credits, still packing mesh armor, but this time he's got paired Mastercrafted Pulverizers, so that way once per battle he can reroll failed hits with his close combat attack. Still has an auto pistol for backup weapon as well as the Friends on collar, so he's going to have all those great ferocity skills again with Nerves of Steel, Berserker, True Grit, Unstoppable. This guy's going to be an absolute beast, and the best part about it is since he's got Friends on conditioning, none of these guys suffer for any of the negative effects from being addicted to this stuff. He's also got a grapnel launcher so that way he can rock across the battlefield, a grav shoot so that way he can drop down from ledges onto his enemies. Still has the infiltrate skill so that way he can surround your enemies and attack them from exposed flank. He's got the Feral Warriors as well as the Friends on conditioning special rules. A new addition to the list is your Impaler. So now your Impaler can be included in this list. He's going to be a Beastman Hunter Specialist at 250 credits. He's got mesh armor for fire armor save as well as a harpoon launcher. And the reason why is because harpoon launchers are fantastic. Plus they have the drag and impale special rule, which is kind of fun. In addition, that's what the character is also carrying in the miniature as well. He's got a auto pistol for a backup weapon as well for close combat as well as frag grenades. He's also got a grapnel launcher so that we can rocket across the battlefield. Does have a grav shoot though. Didn't have enough credits to give the other guys grav shoots, but the grapnel launcher should mimic pretty much the same kind of game mechanic. He does have the specialist rule attached to him, so he can choose his own upgrades. He's also got the Feral Warriors as well as the Friends on conditioning special rule. And this time the Inciter also makes an appearance on this list. Could be another Beastman Hunter at 160 credit. This fighter's got mesh armor for fire armor save, paired auto pistols with man stopper rounds. And the reason why is because that's exactly what the miniature is armed with. Plus you got a good close combat shooting attack as well as a strength 4, so that's also great too. Also packing frag grenades as well, and to mimic their piston legs, we're giving them a grapnel launcher so that way they can rocket across the battlefield. They also got the Feral Warriors as well as a Friends on conditioning special rule. And your Blood Taker also makes a return this time around, this time upgraded to 190 credits, still a Beastman Hunter, got mesh armor as well as a Brute Cleaver and an auto pistol still, as well as frag grenades. We're also giving the grapnel launcher and a Medicaid kit. I think the Blood Taker acts as a medic, I believe, on the tabletop. I'm not really sure yet. Haven't seen the rules for this character, but that's what we're going to assume that this guy does. Runs around and injects people with, demonic blood to keep them alive and keep them fighting. He's also got the Feral Warriors as well as a Friends on conditioning rule. And the very last two fighters, of course, are going to be our Aspirants number 1 and 2. They're both going to be Beastman Hunters at 200 credits each, and we're upgrading a little bit. They all have mesh armor as well as chain glaives and auto pistols, but now we're giving them frag grenades as well, so they can use that. And they also have grapnel launchers to mimic the ability for them to move rapidly across the battlefield. due to their cybernetic legs. They also got the Feral Warriors as well as a Friends on Conditioning special rule. And this is going to be the 2,000 credit roster that you'll use for your gangs in the Aranthian succession. So there you guys have it. In conclusion, every miniature is a Necromunda miniature, and kill teams are an easy transition to take from the kill team tabletop to the Necromunda tabletop. That way you can play multiple games with the same set of miniatures and save yourself a bunch of money. And organically speaking, it kind of mimics that over. Same thing with the narrative style. I mean, it takes place in the same universe, so why not at this point? And if you guys have any other recommendations that you guys would like to see for videos being made, how you can use them in Necromunda from other gaming systems, please leave a comment down below. And if I think your idea is cool, I'll give you credit and make a video about it as well. So there you guys have it. That's good for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. We will catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.